making videos for a while. Since I started this channel, I feel like I've had a pretty steady output of videos that I consider to be pretty solid pieces of work. I also happen to be my own worst critic. Legit, I fall into this cycle of rewatching old things and old videos I've made, nitpicking all these little details about them or errors that I notice that totally no one else does, and I begin to hate everything about it. It's not all bad though, because you can take an opportunity to learn and grow from those mistakes as long as you acknowledge them and face them head on. Otherwise, you're just doomed to repeat the same mistakes, right? At least that's what I tell myself. So let's take a look together, shall we? Here's a quick list of some of the mistakes and or things I wish I'd done differently in some of my videos. One of my most viewed videos to date is the first episode of Hyrule Tours, which focuses on Satori Mountain. I think the video holds up really nicely and highlights a lot of the nice details that the area has to offer. However, I focused almost entirely on the mountain's summit and the landmarks on the eastern side of the mountain. There are several nice locales on the west side of the mountain that I completely neglected to show or mention in the video, and I really wish I had. In the video I made about the good guy Ganondorf theory, I mentioned in maybe 2 lines of the script that there's no reason to believe that Ganondorf is in any way aware of the Curse of Demise. This actually plays a huge part in disproving the theory, because how could Ganondorf break free from the curse if he doesn't even know about it? In the real world, all of the times we see Ganondorf and the points in which his dialogue was written predates the concept of this curse, but in game, the curse comes first and Demise's hatred is personified as Ganondorf himself. I don't mention it much, but I think it's important to examine the way Ganondorf talks about his role in the universe of Zelda. When he talks about his motivations, there is zero mention of this curse. Zero mention that he is the product of it, which he is. There's no reason to believe that in-universe he's aware that the curse even exists, let alone how to break free from it. In the second Hyrule Tours video, we explore the Akkala region and visit several notable landmarks. I briefly touch on the Akkala Ancient Tech Lab, and that you can use Cherry, aka the Ancient Oven, to obtain ancient soldiers' armor and weapons. I neglect to really go more into detail, but the Ancient Tech Lab is a really interesting landmark. It seems to be built out of a lighthouse, the top of which sits on the ground beside the building, but there's also a huge telescope on the top and a ton of interesting details inside, such as these drawings on the walls depicting the divine beasts. In hindsight, I wish I'd taken just a little more time on the location. I also made a mistake saying that there were 3 Lynels in the northern region of Akkala, when there were actually only 2. Ugh, I actually thought that there were 3, because while doing research and while recording footage for the video, there was a blood moon that made one of them respawn. So I actually fought 3 Lynels back to back, but one was a repeat. Big oof. In one of my newest videos, and what might be one of my favorite of my videos, we looked at the Gerudo Desert. I'm so happy with how this video turned out. I took a long time recording footage to get the right collection of scenery shots for this. After the video came out, RPG mentioned to me during a live stream that I forgot to mention one of the region's most unique features: its own mode of transportation. You can't bring your horse into the desert, so you have to instead use sand seals to get around quickly. Sand seals are not only really cool, but also important to the story, as you need to use one to board the divine beast Vah Naboris. I even included a scenery shot that includes the sand seals, so I have no idea how I forgot to include their functionality in the script. I made this video a while back while I was still making content frequently for Nintendo Prime, which is also a good channel, by the way, go check it out. I re-uploaded it here on my channel later on. It's a neat video in which we visit areas from the trailers of Breath of the Wild and see where these locations ended up in the final game. However, there is one scene from the E3 2016 trailer in which the Stalnox is shown up on a cliff. It's not on the cliff in the final game, but I still accidentally showed the wrong location. The Stalnox shown in the trailer is actually found just south of Lake Hylia in Harfin Valley. The location I showed is actually way over near RS Beach at an alcove just southeast of Lake Floria. The areas look very similar, both featuring a Stalnox in a sandy alcove surrounded by cliffs. Both areas are just slightly inland from the sea, but still, I made a tiny mistake that nobody but me notices, but it still bothers me every time I see the video. Okay, so my Dragon Break video might be one of my most discussed and well-known videos that I've ever worked on. I'm very proud of the theory, but in the video I only mention that there is evidence for the game taking place in all 3 timelines. I never actually say what that evidence is. That may not have been the point of the video, and I probably left it out because at the time everybody was talking about how there was all this conflicting evidence. But a part of me still feels that if I'm going to make a theory video, that I damn better well be thorough with my evidence. And in this case, I published the video making the assumption that my viewers would already know the evidence without actually providing it myself. I'm not actually going to get into what that evidence is in this video because that's not the point of this video, but still, I feel bad about it. Also, there's a quick shot in which I showed in split screen the 4 main dungeons of Majora's Mask. I have no idea why, but for some reason I included the panning landscape shot of Stone Tower itself instead of the interior shot of Stone Tower Temple. I used the temple interior shots for the other 3 dungeons, but not that one for some reason. It's super minor, but every time I watch the video, it kinda sticks out to me. That is just my inner perfectionist coming out though. In my video about geography in the Legend of Zelda's theories, and why its inconsistency makes it basically null and void when using it as evidence for theories, I don't think there's a point that I made very clear. It is okay to look at the existence of individual landmarks when thinking of theories. What my video was trying to get at was that looking at the entire map as a whole is nonsense because it just changes too much between games. So yeah, talking about places like Death Mountain appearing in multiple games and looking at the individual features of Death Mountain, that's perfectly fine for your theory. Talking about how tectonic plates may have shifted, causing rifts in the land and canyons, because the Lost Woods is in a different spot in A Link to the Past versus Ocarina of Time, and using that to construct a timeline theory based on the overall map, that's really what my video was meant to say is pointless to do. It's no secret that I write my own music to use in my videos when I can, specifically because I don't want to get flagged or receive a copyright strike, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So why did I do this? In one of my Link to the Past streams, I used the song Mr. Sandman, or more specifically an instrumental cover of the Chordettes classic. I did this because of a running joke we have about the Wallmaster enemy, who we nicknamed Mr. Handman, for obvious reasons. Also, during my E3 2019 vlog, for some reason I used the Cantina song from Star Wars. It fit the video perfectly because we were in a Star Wars themed bar that night, and yet still, I should have known better than to incur the wrath of Disney. Both videos received copyright claims almost immediately. At this point, I am not at the point in which my channel is eligible to receive any monetization on YouTube, so for now, it's probably not a big deal. But when I do reach that point, and I hope you're all as optimistic as I am about that, I really hope that this isn't going to bite me in the arse. We'll see, I guess. And there you have it. There's 9 because I couldn't think of 10 little oopsies or mistakes that I made in previous videos, or things I just wish I had done a little differently. Thank you so much for watching this video. I want to just take a moment to say thank you to my lovely supporters on Patreon. In particular, I need to say thank you to those who supported at the cheese tier or higher. That includes Tetra, AJ, and Brenda. So thank you so much to you guys for the support. Love you all, and I will catch you guys in the next video.